All right. We're going to finish up 210 today. And hold on, I think I have to sneeze. Excuse me. We're going to finish up 210 today. And so what you're going to need is you're going to need your math workbook, page 78. And then you're also going to want your whiteboard with your whiteboard supplies. And I'm going to use my story problem template today. If you have your story problem template, great, you can use that. I sent it home with you on our last day together. If you don't have that, then you can just use a plain white piece of paper too, and that would work as well. So I'm going to give you a second if you want to pause this and make sure that you have your whiteboard supplies and page 78 from your workbook, and then you can hit play once you have those things. So feel free to pause it right now if you need to. All right, so today we're going to work through story problems. And as we do story problems, we'll also practice multiplying 1-digit by 3-digit numbers, which you can remember that's our skill for 2-10. And so on page 78, there's story problems that we'll work through today. And we're going to use deal. So you're going to want your orange deal sheet in front of you as well. I didn't remind you to pull that, so feel free to pause it again if you need to grab your orange deal sheet as well, but you're going to want that. All right, so we have all of our things now. We have our orange deal sheet, we have our whiteboard supplies, and we have page 78 from our workbook. So here we go. Remember that when we use deal, we start off by simply visualizing the story problem. So we're going to do that to start. And the directions say you can use your skills for multiplying a one-digit number by a 3-digit number to multiply 1-digit dollar amounts by 3-digit dollar amounts. So today we're going to use exactly what we know about multiplying 1-digit numbers by 3-digit numbers, but we're going to do that with dollars instead of just numbers. And so let's get started. Find the exact cost and give your answer in dollars. Number 16 says, a car tire cost $158. If Danica needs to buy new tires, how much will 4 tires cost? Okay, so we're going to visualize that. Can you picture Danica's car? She needs new tires. A tire costs $158. Let's underline and circle what's important there. So I need to know it's $158, and I need to know if that's for a tire, not all of the tires, but that really is going to be for each tire. Okay. And then I can see that Danica needs to actually have 4 tires is how much she needs. And they're asking how much will that cost? And so that tells me that my answer is going to be in dollars. So I'm going to get my label ready right there. All right, so I have done the first 4 steps of deal. I visualized, I circled and underlined the important information. I underlined the question, and I've got my label. Now I'm going to go to step 5, and you're going to want to look at your deal sheet because now we need to draw that drawing with a story. Remember, our drawing tells a story. It shows that we understand our story problem. And so because I have 4 tires, and I know that tire 1 is $158, tire 2 is $158, tire 3 is $158, and tire 4 is $158. I am going to repeat 158 plus 158 plus 158 plus 158. Another way to repeat addition is to multiply. And so I can see that's repeated addition here. I know it's going to be this drawing right here. It didn't use the word each, but I know that each tire costs $158. So this is going to be my drawing right here. It doesn't matter which method I use to solve it. I've got to have a drawing there. So I'm going to go to my whiteboard now, and I'm going to finish my drawing. My drawing's already here for me and ready to go. And I know that I have 4 tires, and each tire is $158 each. That's not my total. And I'm trying to figure out what the total cost is, so I'm going to use a variable of C. Okay, and you should be doing this along with me. All right, step 6 is to write my equation, and I know that my equation is going to be 158 times 4, and this is going to equal C, actually. It's going to equal my variable. Okay, and now step 7 is to solve that. So I can solve that using any method I'd like. I'm going to solve it using the area method. If you would like to use the area method with me, you can. If you want to use your own method, feel free to do that and then just check our answers at the end. So I'm going to draw a nice big rectangle because I know that this is going to have a hundreds place, a tens place, and a ones place. I'm going to put my 4 on each side. And I'm going to take that 158, that's a scary number, and I'm going to use place value to make it less scary. So 100 plus 50 plus 8. 100 plus 50 plus 8. Okay, now I'm going to touch my equations and write them. So 4 and 100, 50 and 4, and 8 and 4. Okay, I'm ready to solve my equations. I'm not going to let those zeros be the death of me. This is the hundreds place. I'm going to put 2 zeros there for hundreds. And then 4 times 1 is just 4. There's my 0 for tens, and 5 times 4 is 20. So I'm actually going to have 2 zeros there. 1 is for the tens, and 1 belongs to the 5 times 4, which is 20. 8 times 4 is 32. Now I need to add those together. So I've got 400 plus 200 plus 32, and when I add those together, I get 632. Check to see that you got the same answer that I did. If you did not, check your hundreds. Did you get 400 for your hundreds product, 200 for your tens product, and 32 for your ones product? I'm now going to take that answer, 632, and I'm going to transfer it back to this sheet right here, $632. Okay, awesome. All right, I'm going to erase my whiteboard and let's go on to number 17. Every time I do a story problem, remember I have to use deal, so I'm keeping that orange sheet in front of me. This time as we do that, I'm really going to focus on how I'm using deal because you'll finish this sheet on your own today and you're going to want to make sure you know how to use deal as well. All right, so 17, step 1 of deal, and I would always have this sheet in front of me. Let me explain how important that is. This is all of my steps. Many of you forget this step right here where you have to make a drawing. And many of you forget step 9. We actually just forgot that. So we're really going to make sure we look at this today. Okay. All right. So the 4th grade is going on a field trip to a wildlife sanctuary. A ticket cost $6. How much will it cost if 127 students go on the field trip? All right, so can you visualize that? The 4th graders are going on the field trip to the wildlife sanctuary. Can you picture all those 4th graders going on that field trip? And the total cost a ticket costs $6. So not the total cost of tickets, but one ticket. So I'm going to circle $6 and I'm going to circle a ticket. That's the cost of a ticket or each ticket. And I know that the question is how much will it cost? So that tells me that I'm going to give an answer in dollars. So I'm going to get my dollar sign there. And I know that 127 students are going to go on that field trip. So I can picture 127 students. I can picture them all walking up to the door and paying $6. $6 for student 1, $6 for student 2, $6 for student 3, $6 for student 4. I hear it repeating. And so now when I go to my deal sheet, I'm thinking about that drawing. And I'm saying, okay, it repeated. It didn't use the word each, but I know that each ticket costs $6 and it's repeating. $6 for the first person, $6 for the second person. That's repeated addition. And a faster way to do that is to multiply. So I'm going to use my multiplication rectangle here, the area model here, to show my story. All right, let's check to see that I did my steps and then I'm ready for that. I read and I visualized. I reread and circled important information. I underlined the question. I wrote my label to the answer. And now I'm ready for step 5. I've already decided that this is the drawing I'm going to do because I have lots of $6. I'm repeating that. I don't just have two $6. I have lots of $6. So I'm ready to do my drawing. I'm going to get my whiteboard and it has that drawing there and I'm going to tell my story on it now. So it is $6 each ticket. And there's a total of 127 students going. And I'm trying to find the total cost, so I'm going to call that C. All right, my drawing tells my story. 127 students are going on the field trip. They're $6 each. I'm going to figure out what the total cost is. I understand the total cost is going to be the total number of boxes on the inside of that, just like the area of that rectangle. As I look at my deal sheet, I see that step 6 is to write the equation. And so my equation, I'm going to write that with a variable. My equation is 6 times 127 equals, and remember that it's going to equal C. So I'm going to write that equals C. All right. Now I'm ready to solve this problem. Okay, and I can choose my method to solve it. I'm going to choose the area method again because I want to focus this time on how when I use the area method, I end up with two rectangles, but only one of my rectangles tells the story. Only one of my rectangles is the drawing. So I'm going to use that area method again. I'm going to make my rectangle nice and big. And I'm going to take that scary number and I'm going to make it into 100 plus 20 plus 7. I'll do that down here too. And I'm going to touch my equations and write them. 6 times 100, 6 times 20, 7 times 6. Notice how important it is for me to touch them so that I get the right numbers down. All right, notice I have two rectangles here. Let's talk about that for a second. If you're doing your own method, stop for a second and look here. This one, this rectangle is my drawing. That rectangle goes with step 5, where I had to make a drawing with numbers and labels. This one tells the story, and this is my drawing, okay? This tells me that there are 127 students who paid $6 each. This is me solving it. This is not telling the story at all. 127 what? I don't know. This doesn't have a story on it. This is my method of solving it. So every time I solve a story problem that's in the multiplication division family right now, I have to have this rectangle that has the numbers and the labels that tells the story. And then I might use the area method. And if I do, I'm going to end up with two rectangles, one that tells the story and one that solves it. So I'm ready to solve this now. 100 is going to have 2 zeros. 6 times 1 is 6. 1 0 for my tens, and 6 times 2 is 12. 7 times 6 is 42. And then I'm going to add those together, 600, 120, and 42. And when I add those together, I get 2, 6, and 7, $762. Let me make sure I have all of my deal. So step 9, we forgot the last time we solved the problem. I used the area method. So here's my rectangle for step 7 of solving. And I wrote the answer by my label there. I haven't transferred it to my paper yet, but I will. Let me make sure I have all my parts of deal. So this is my drawing. This is not my equation. It's an addition equation, but this is really a multiplication problem I'm solving. So this is my equation right here. 6 times 127 equals C. And notice how today we're really focusing on putting that variable in there. The answer is going to be C. And then my answer's here and my label's here. So I have all the parts of deal. I'm now going to take that answer and I'm going to transfer it back onto my sheet. My answer was $762. Good, let's erase and let's do one more together. And this time, I want to show you how you'll do this in your math notebook, because you're going to finish these in your math notebook and you're going to take a picture and turn it into me. You won't be able to solve them on your whiteboard for me, because then how would I be able to see your work if you erase it every single time? So for this, we're now going to transfer to our math notebook, and I want to show you how important it is for us to transfer those answers and for you to number those problems. So finding your math notebook, which you brought home with you, you're going to go to your next empty page and you're going to label the top of this the lesson. It's so important that we label the top of that. So we're going to put 2-10. And then we're going to work on number 18. So we're going to number this number 18. If you don't number it, I have no idea what problem it is and you get it wrong, you have to redo it. So we're numbering that number 18. And now we're ready to go to our story problem and read it just like we were before. I still have my deal sheet here and I'm still starting by reading and visualizing. A round trip airplane ticket costs $224. If a group of 5 people buy tickets, how much will their tickets cost? All right, can you picture that? Airplane tickets cost $224. That's for one ticket, a trip, a airplane ticket costs that much. But a group of 5 people are going to buy the tickets. So I'm going to have $224 for the first person, $224 for the second person, $224 for the third person. I hear repeated addition here, and they want to know how much will the cost of the tickets be. Step 2 says to reread and circle the important information. Notice how I'm looking at this. When you're solving the rest of these on your own in a few minutes, you're going to need to also do that. And so now I'm going to circle that important information. I need $224, and I need to know if that's for a airplane ticket. One ticket costs that much. And I know that 5 people are going to buy those tickets. And my question is, how much will their tickets cost? So I know that label is going to be the $sign. All right, looking here, I reread and circled important information. I underlined the question and I wrote the label. I'm ready for my drawing. And once again, I heard that repeated addition there. I didn't hear the word each, but it's each ticket is $224. So I know this is going to be my drawing. I'm going to use that rectangle line. So next to number 18, I'm going to draw my rectangle. And I'm going to put my story on my rectangle, okay? So my story has to go on my drawing. I'm going to look back at my story problem, and I see that it's 5 people, and then it's $224, that's my label, each. Okay, so I have 5 people who each paid $224 for their ticket, and I'm trying to figure out the total cost, so my variable is going to be C again. All right, this tells my story. It's got my numbers on it, it's got my labels on it, and it's got my variable for the answer. That stands for C, stands for cost, the number that it's going to be when I find the answer. My next step on my deal says to write my equation. Notice how I'm looking at this. This is what you're going to do when I'm done with you in a few minutes. So my equation is going to be 5 times 224 equals C. Put your variable there. That's what we're learning today. All right, I'm ready to solve it. This time I'm going to solve it using the expanded notation method so that if you're using that method, you'll get to see how that works. So I'm going to write this as 224 times 5, and I'm going to expand that scary number. So I'm going to make it 200 plus 20 plus 4, and my 5 isn't scary at all, so I'm going to keep that a 5. All right, I'm ready to find my hundreds equation, my tens equation, and my ones equation. I'm going to touch my 5 to the hundreds, and I get 5 times 200. I'm going to touch my 5 to the 20, and I get 5 times 20. And finally, my 5 to the 4, and I get 5 times 4. All right, I'm ready to find the products or the answers to my hundreds, my tens, and my ones. And I can check just to make sure I'm right. I'm multiplying by 5, and I have the number 224, and that matches that right there. So I've got the right equations there. I've got 2 zeros. I'm going to get those there right away. And then 5 times 2 is 10. I get another 0 there. This 0 belongs to the 5 times 2 is 10. Here I've got a 0, and I'm going to line that up right here in my ones place. And then 5 times 2 once again is 10. So I'm going to get another 0. This 0 belongs to 10. And then 5 times 4 is 20, and I'm going to line that right up. If I lined that up, I'm all ready to add 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 2, 0, 1, and a 1. And so my answer is 1,120. And I need to have my label there. I can transfer it back to here, but really you guys are going to take a picture of this sheet right here. So you're going to be better off by putting your label right there and circling that answer. Okay, so I solved it. I wrote my answer by a label, and now I'm ready to label those parts. So I've got my drawing, which tells the story. I've got my equation with a variable. That's our new thing that we learned today. And I've got my answer and my label. And I circled my answer. Please circle your answer. You're now ready to do numbers 19, 20, and 21. I want you to work through those 3, and you're going to start with number 19 right here on your sheet. Don't forget to number it. And then I want you to take a picture of your work and turn it in. See me in math group if you have questions, as well as at the end of the day today. You can see me as well during that Lexia time if you have questions. Thank you.